Let's talk about table topics. It is considered the number one fear in Toastmasters, and a lot of people might consider it the number one fear in their life, public speaking. Number two is death. What does that mean? It means that people would rather be in the box than giving the eulogy. But it doesn't have to be that way. If you can get a handle on table topics, you're really getting a handle on life, because table topics is real life. Everything else that we do in Toastmasters is pretend. It's pre-planned. It's already decided before it happens. Table topics, they give you the topic and you go with it. I created a list of 10 table topic tips. Jim alluded to the first one during his presentation by saying you don't have to answer the question being asked to you. You see, a lot of people think that the table topics master owns table topics, but it's not true. You own table topics. You get to decide what you want to talk about. You have to talk for a minute, and you can go up to 2 minutes and 15 seconds in our club without being eliminated, but you must talk for a minute. But to fill that minute, you've got a lot of different ways without even saying anything. I heard Jim at one time give a table topics without saying a word. And if you think speaking is hard for a minute to 2 minutes, try being quiet and silent for more than a minute. Number one on the top 10 list is you don't need to answer the actual topic. That's what Jim alluded to. Number two is that you may have a few general topics ready. I call this my toolbox. The more speeches you give, you can just put these things in your toolbox. So when you're asked a table topics question, to your audience it might sound brand new, but it might not have to be brand new, because maybe you used an excerpt of that in a speech that you gave. At the area contest, they asked me at the contest level, what about being lucky that makes you different? And I spoke about that lottery ticket that I spoke about in a speech just a couple of weeks prior. That was in my toolbox, so I was ready to go with something to be able to win and take home the trophy as a result of that. Literally, if you've got a toolbox being built and you can add things to it, maybe a real life story, maybe something you saw on television, maybe something that suits you, add it to this toolbox. It's an imaginary toolbox, but the more things in your toolbox, the more things you'll be able to pull from should that need arise. Table topics is something that you own. It's your toolbox, and you get the opportunity to pull it out of your toolbox when you want to. You can bounce off the last question or the last answer that was given. I don't want to talk about that, but I want to talk about, I liked his, I wish I had his question, because with his question, I would talk about and go with it. Now, what do we do if we don't know? We can't come up with something. We stall. We come up with something, a matter of being able to stall something that's automatic. Mr. Table Topics Master, Toastmasters, dignitaries, and guests, you've just wasted or stalled for 5 seconds so that your mind can catch up to you to come up with something. So that's on there. You can weave your answer in with the question. What do you mean by that? Why would you ask me that? What were you thinking when you thought up that question? For me, why would you ask me that? All stall tactics to get you to that 60 seconds. A lot of people start off with the protocol, but if you know what you're going to talk about, start off with your speech, your 60-second speech, and then do your protocol. What does that do? You're bringing the audience in, you're catching the audience, and then you're going on with your speech. All the while you're giving that protocol, you're able to come up with the ending of your speech. So a couple of years back, they asked a table topics question at a contest level, go for the gold. What would you have said if somebody said, go for the gold? You're on. What would you talk about?
Go for the gold. I would have envisioned playing soccer.
Okay.
Playing for the championship game, and I'm up, and I'm going to make that goal.
Perfect. What would you consider a great answer? Go for the gold.
Wasn't listening for the last 30 seconds.
Perfect. I'm glad. You'll hear it again for the first time. Go for the gold. Go for the gold. What would you say?
What would I say to that?
Yeah. What would your answer be? Think about your toolbox. What's in that toolbox? What can you pull out of that toolbox when it talks about a goal? Maybe a goal in life, maybe a goal that you're trying to achieve.
I can tell you a lot of stories about bronze.
Okay, there you go. Okay, that's an answer, right? Want to know what I did? I spoke about the fact that I love to bake. And of everything I love to do, I love to bake cookies. But I don't just buy regular things in the supermarket. I don't go into Publix and buy the brand name items. I go for the gold. I go for gold medal flour, Mr. Contest Chair. And that's how I pulled it off. I just spoke about going for the gold medal flour, as opposed to everybody else's answer. There was 5 or 6 people that gave table topics. I won because of the uniqueness in it. It's in the toolbox, though, guys, and that's what we have to build for ourselves if we don't have one already, to build this toolbox of things that we can just come up with. Now, where did that come from? Well, it's on TV a million years ago, gold medal flour, right? So it's just a matter of having that in your toolbox. You don't know what the question's going to be, but if you've got a toolbox with some answers in it, general answers in nature, you're going to do very well with table topics. If handed a prop, a fortune cookie, or a penny, have we seen that in the club, the new members? Where somebody just gives you a coin, the picture? Yeah, I was ready for that. I had folded up a blank piece of paper. And as soon as she gave me that piece of paper, had I been called on, I would have said, this is a picture of a cow eating grass. And I would have said, if you're looking for the grass, the cow ate it. And if you're looking for the cow, well, why should he hang around? Because there's no more grass. There's no grass left, right? Think that would have won table topics? It was in my toolbox, guys. It was from a million years ago, Sesame Street, Ernie and Bert. It's in there. It's in the toolbox. And if you can keep that, do you remember?
You did that. You had 3 words and you made all of them up.
Yeah, I made all the words up. And the table topics master is thinking, I don't remember writing those words down. I don't remember that. But she went along with it, and I ended up, yeah. Because I own table topics. Table topics doesn't own me. And I think that's the critical point, that we get to decide what we're going to say. They give you a fortune cookie, and you crack that fortune cookie open, and you're supposed to talk for 1 to 2 minutes about what it says. If you know that's happening, and it's not in the contest format where 2 people, 3 people are going to go before you go, you know what's coming. Jot down an answer to something that you're going to talk about. Think about that toolbox. Think about something that you're going to say in the toolbox. You can use humor, of course. Just have fun with it. That's number 10 on this list, is permission to have fun. Just have fun with it. If somebody hands me a fortune cookie and asks me an answer, the first thing I'm going to do is tell them, it says here 7, 12, 17, 27, 54. Right? I'm winning the audience over, and then I'm going to, Mr. Contest Master, guess. I'll flip it over. Oh, the other side. Oh, you want me to read the other side? Okay. And I've already got the question that I'm going to read or pretend I'm reading, and I'm going to give an answer. Why is it you're so darn good looking? Well, let me tell you how this started. Right? Because I own table topics, and I think that's the point of my presentation today. You can answer the question with a question. Table topics guy comes up to you and asks you a question. Why would you ask me that? What were you thinking when you came up with that question? It's a very good question, by the way, but what is it that you were thinking? Why did you ask me that question? Why didn't you ask her that question? You deliberately asked me. What were you thinking about when you asked me that question? The last contest that I entered, I didn't even answer the question that they asked. I got 3rd place, so maybe that's maybe I'm the wrong guy to talk about that. But you don't have to answer the question. You get to skate around that question. You get to win the audience over. If you can do that, you can win table topics without even answering the question, because you've won the audience over. I asked a couple of you guys to bring some table topics questions, not so much to throw it out there to answer them, but to analyze what the options are for the exact same question. Who's got one?
When you read them, please speak up so we can pick it up here.
Okay. You have one?
Okay. Become your favorite fruit or vegetable and describe why you are the king or queen of all vegetables.
Okay. Become your favorite fruit or vegetables. Well, I'm crazy, right? Would you say I'm nuts? So I would come back to that with saying, boy, fruits or vegetables, man, I know I'm nuts. I know that because Mom told me I'm nuts. I don't know about fruits and vegetables. My brother now, on the other hand, he's a little fruity. And I might get into something about my brother being a little fruity. But me, I'm nuts. And I've got it proven. And if we can talk about what works for us. So one way to combat that would be to talk about being fruity or being crazy or being nuts. The other way is to put it off to somebody else. I don't know about being fruity, but I know I'm nuts. Okay? Because I own table topics, not you. You asked me the question. I own it. Yeah. John?
These one-word topics like bang.
Yeah. Some people think it's real hard. Some people think it's real hard. But you can answer that question with that question. Bang? Do you mean like bang on a wall or bang your head against the wall for coming up with that question? Or do you mean bang like that shot that got fired out at the bank when I was in the bank? And they said, the crook said to me, did you see what I looked like? And I said, no, but my wife did. And then I heard a bang. What did I do? It's in the toolbox, guys, right? That's really what it's about. One word. What was the one word that they gave us that Chantel asked a question? She said, it was a one-word table topics question. Crossroads. Yeah. People were flustered with that word. Crosswords. Eric Jacobson, crossroads. What have you got? What are you coming up with? Anybody coming up with anything? It's the name of a club? Yeah. What would you say if somebody said crossroads? Your table topics is crossroads.
Maybe on a journey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on a
maybe
journey.
we talk about direction, you're on a decision. It was 1967, and I was having to, you can talk about it once upon a time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who, what, what.
Yeah. Or say something about the year you were born. They don't know what year he was born. If something happened to you in 1984, talk about 1984. If you can relate to it, yeah.
You had a table topics, I am, wasn't it?
I
A couple
am.
years ago?
Yeah. And I went the nuts route too.
John was doing that one too.
Yeah. There's just so many answers to the same exact question that it's critical that we have things that we can talk about based on what's in our toolbox.
Alyssa gave me one the other day, and I went back and trying to figure out what do I would say.
What was it? Do you
It
remember?
was, yes, you're at a party, your boss has had a little bit too much to drink, what would you do?
Get the raise. I would talk about the raise and, I remind him the next day what he did, how inappropriate it was, and what he promised you.
Oh, I'd go over and ask him for a raise.
Yeah. Remember you told me I'd get that raise if I didn't tell anybody? Remember? Yeah. I would have fun with it. I think that's a critical point in here is to have fun, regardless of what happens at table topics, is to just have fun with it. There's no right or wrong answer. You're not going to get thrown out for most anything you say, once in a while. But you're not going to get thrown out, and it's just really important to have fun with table topics. Anybody else have another table topic that we can analyze? Nick?
How about when they get asked, tell us about your most exciting experience, and or some kind of, and your mind just goes completely blank. Although I think I know how you're going to respond to this, but we'll let you answer
Okay.
it anyway.
I would consider talking about what somebody else might have said before you if it wasn't a contest scenario. In a contest scenario, you don't get to hear what everybody else said. My last contest, I was number 7 out of 7, so I didn't hear the other 6. What I did get to do is get a copy of the tape, and I got to hear the other 6. And one of the guys that didn't come in the money, the first thing he said was, I wouldn't kill anybody, I'll tell you that much. That was the first thing he said before he said protocol. Were you at that, Jimmy? Yeah. That's the first thing he said is, I wouldn't kill anybody if I had that power to do something. I wouldn't kill anybody, yeah. So of course, not a good direction to go in. Where are we going to go from there, right? But really, it's just a matter of doing that. And it's just, when you're thrown a question, you can have the right to just throw it right back at people. Any other topics anybody have?
If you go back in time and talk to your former high school self, what could you say to them, to you, and change your life forever?
You got to get out of this high school. I mean, you're here 7 years already. You have your own parking spot. Your car is better than the parking spot of the teachers that come to this school. When are you getting the hell out of here? What do you have to do to get out of here? This self-deprecating humor works for me. It doesn't work for everybody, but it works for me. I always put the onus back on me. You're here 7 years already. When are you getting out? You would think they would just graduate you just to get rid of it. Just to get rid of it, get you off the payroll.
See, I have a hard time getting past, the honesty of it.
It doesn't-
Someone asks you, what's your most embarrassing moment? Or
It doesn't have to be on.
Right. You think of someone else, I guess.
Yeah. Think of somebody else and just make it yours. Make it yours. Remember that you own it. You own it. Anybody else have one?
I have one.
Mhm.
I have imagined that you are a family pet. Describe yourself and your family on a typical day. And then it gives you different options of pets that you can be, or just imagine. But just on a take, it's just being very descriptive and creative on your
Okay.
response.
I gave a speech on it's great to be Debbie's dog, right? So that's in my toolbox. So if somebody talks about a dog, I'm coming up with that. I'm coming up with an excerpt of that because that's in my toolbox and I'm able to talk freely about that life that my dog has. The fact that my dog has sirloin and I'm having leftovers from I don't even know what. I'm handed an empty plate that's been in the refrigerator for 4 weeks, and that's what I have for dinner, and the dog is having top sirloin. The dog is allowed on furniture. The dog is allowed on furniture that I'm not allowed on. The dog is sleeping closer to my wife than I am. So if the word dog comes up, that's my response regardless of what the question is, because that's in there. Right? Yeah. Now, how would anybody else answer a question with a dog? Any thoughts of what you can do? Remember, the goal is to win the audience over, right? You want to get the voter, you want to win the contest. The goal is to win the audience over. So what are you going to do that? Get them on your side. I got to tell you about this dog. My dog's got a better life than I do. Can anybody relate to that? Half the audience is going to relate to it.
For that, I got a birthday card from my cat, and it was thanking me for giving me more food than the other cat, and allowing me to climb up onto the lap. And actually, a birthday card that a friend got,
Okay.
that her husband wrote from her cat to her.
Mhm.
So that's kind of cute to have.
Yeah, just have that. Put it in there. It just makes sense to have that with you, because you're not even going to be able to use the whole thing, perhaps, but an excerpt from it, or it'll just give you that trigger that you need to get through to that green light.
You could be the voice of the pet.
Yeah, you take on the voice of the pet. Boy, what I saw last night, talking to a cat next door. Boy, what I saw last night, you can't believe those people.
Just look adoringly at my corner, and I get petted, and I'm the center of attention, just sit on their lap.
I got my mom to feed me and my dad to feed me. Let me tell you how I did that. Yeah. But it's a matter of owning table topics, and don't let that person intimidate you that's giving you the question. So think, and if you can plan ahead in the chapter setting, if you can plan ahead and you know what's coming. Again, the other night when she started handing out those pictures, I already had my piece of paper folded. It was going to just be a blank piece of paper. I already had that plan. And if they're giving out coins, I'm already thinking in my mind, what is it in that coin? What year can I talk about? That makes sense. Wow, look at this, 1978 coin. Who knows? If there's something in there I can talk about, I'm doing it. I was just graduating high school or whatever for the second time, and just whatever you got to do to get through that minute. That fortune cookie, we just own it. We decide what that fortune cookie says. Think about that. Jimmy, any?
It's really important to us minds because at a certain age you can't read it.
You can't read it anyway. You can't read it. It's perfect. Yeah, E plurimus unum. Is that the year? Is that the year? Any thoughts, Jim? Anything to add to table topics? Yeah. Anything else we could look at?
You can visit anywhere in the world or be whoever you want to be. How would you answer that?
Opalaka. I love Opalaka. I love Opalaka. Boy, if you haven't been there, Opalaka, it's surrounded by water on all sides. The flooding that goes on down there, you have no idea what's going on. You can't get a cup of American coffee there, but...
You're talking beautiful downtown Tamarack.
Yeah, it's second to downtown Tamarack. Jimmy,
What you just did sparked something in me. Try, if you can, to tie your response into a commonality with everybody in the audience. Your response of Obalaka wouldn't work if you were in front of a group of non-Floridians, because it wouldn't mean anything to them. But when you're talking to Floridians, that registers with them. So if you know something that everybody's talking about, use that.
right.
I thought that was in Hawaii.
It is. It's one of those here too, and it's also surrounded by water. Yeah, I heard what you said about Boston. It wouldn't work in Boston, right? But there's something in Boston. There's something at Boston that you can put in your toolbox when you get there and you get settled in. You find yourself a Toastmaster, and as soon as they ask you about it, where would you like to travel to? Where would you like to travel to? You know,
Yeah, so don't go for the obvious, basically, is
Yeah.
what you're saying. Be
unique.
surprising.
Unique. Take that word unique and break it into 2 words. Break it into 2 words. Unique. What makes you different than your competition? Everybody else is going for the norm, right? Everybody else is talking about going for the gold, about winning that gold medal or whatever it is, and go for something that's just absolutely different.
Do you ever get nervous that, you have that inner voice that says, maybe you shouldn't say that?
Yeah. 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 The last contest I was in, I said, I don't have that inner voice. And when a woman said to me, does this dress make me look fat? And I said, no, your butt makes you look fat. I figured I would win the audience over, and unfortunately the judges were overweight, but I would have won if it wasn't. But it's the only thing I can come up with is that the judges were overweight. I did say it at the contest, yeah. Who was there? Jimmy was there? Yeah.
That's when you got there,
Yeah, I got third place in that.
I'd like to clarify that. You've indicated a couple of times you came in third. That was third at district. That means that he's the third best table topics presenter in South Florida and the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Third is okay.
Yeah, third and the Bahamas. Yeah, the four of them in Bahamas. It's just great. And Opelika, including Opelika. Anything else that we could share? Table topics, guys, just keep in mind that it's up to you. And you can't fear it. You can't fear it. You've got to go in with your eyes wide open. And just stick to it. No matter what comes out of your mouth, something coming out of your mouth is better than nothing coming out of your mouth.
Because sometimes people go off character and it's so funny.
It is fun, yeah.
When they
And
use
sometimes they don't even answer.
languages.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Didn't even answer the question. They could win without answering the question because of the fact that they were themselves. They were really enjoying it. You had a thought?
Really interesting one, I think, was Shelby and Nick did it, was where they were playing like songs. And that one, I think, that really sunk me. It's like, oh, how would you like do that sort of thing?
What was the scenario?
Play like 10 seconds of a music song.
Okay, and you had to
You just had to like,
Talk about what you remembered from it.
From the song.
What memory?
Yeah, that bicycle was stolen. Remember that bicycle was stolen? Yeah, talk about that. It's just whatever the song comes up, it doesn't matter because you already have the answer in your box. So it's just a matter of pulling it out of your box when you hear the song. If you can relate to the words in the song, great. I got a brand new bicycle, you got a brand new key. Well, somebody does have a brand new bicycle because I had it first and they stole it from me. I'm still looking for that guy that stole that brand new bicycle from me. Yeah. There's a story that you have in your mind, in your heart, that if you can bring it out to the surface, it'll be a table topics answer. It's in there already. It's just a matter of bringing it up to the surface. Everybody here can relate to the stolen bicycle. Everybody here can relate to the TV commercials. We watch 1 million commercials. Put them in your toolbox.
I went to my first TLI, it was one in Boca, and I don't recall who the teacher was for the table topics, but she called on one of her members or senior people. Said, what is your most embarrassing habit? And he gets up there in his white shirt, tie, suit, and he goes, I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but I have this habit, and I go into stores like Walmart, and I steal kids' pacifiers. And he's saying this with a straight face, because like, I can't help myself.
Yeah.
And the more upset they get, the more excited I get.
Yeah.
And he went on for 2 minutes, and I'm thinking, oh my God, who even thinks this way?
Right.
And then he had something else to say, and I was like, my jaw just went, okay,
Outrageous.
we have permission
Nothing wrong with
just to
being
go
outrageous.
off the deep end
Yeah.
and just go into another personality.
After I got off,
It's more of a demonstration, but he had us on the edge of our seat.
right, the officer told me that I can't steal TVs anymore, and I just stopped doing it. I just stopped cold turkey doing it. Now I go into people's homes and I steal their remote controls, and I stand outside and I just change the channel. And I haven't been in trouble since that time. But if you can come up with it, it's in there. It's in there. Yeah. Yeah, don't steal TV. Steal the remote. Drive people crazy. Yeah. John told me that one.
yeah, it works like a charm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. That's table topics in a nutshell, guys. It's up to you what you need to do.